Welcome to BagelFest. Has everyone had a chance to eat a little bit? Have a little nosh? I did. It's pretty delicious. I'm Andrea Strong. I'm a journalist. I cover food and restaurants for Eater New York and for my Substack called The Strong Buzz. And I am a native New Yorker. I was born in Queens and now I live in Brooklyn. So bagels are in my blood. And I am here with two bagel legends. Chris Pugliese, I'm trying to pronounce that properly, who is the founder of Tompkins Square Bagels, and Brooks Tanner, who is the founder of Spread Bagelry in Philadelphia. And we can still, it's not New York City, but he's all right. Close second. Very good tomato pie in Philly, so maybe we'll have Tomato Pie Fest next. So a little bit about Chris before we get started. Chris, as you probably know, is the founder of one of the best bagel shops in New York City, Tompkins Square Bagels. That he actually got his bagel start when he was 15 years old at a bagel place called Bake City Bagels in Gravesend, Brooklyn. Has anyone? I've never heard of that, but I'm sure it was wonderful. And he actually went on to work in non-bagel restaurants, Nobu, Blue Ribbon, and Sushi Samba, where he learned front of house and the art of hospitality. And he launched Tompkins in 2011 in the East Village. And now you have 4 Manhattan locations, 2 in the East Village, 1 in Union Square, and 1 on the Upper East Side. And he's opening 2 more in 2026, 1 in Tribeca and 1 in Midtown. And if you'd like him to open 1 in your neighborhood, talk to him after the panel. And Brooks started out, he was this chief operating officer of Spread Bagelry in Philadelphia. And now he runs, he's the culinary director of the Fearless Restaurant Group. But he's really known for his strong culinary foundation and for developing high-performing teams and cultivating cultures of excellence, which we all need. So I'm really happy to be here with Brooks and Chris to talk about bagels and hospitality. So I'm going to start out with, I have some questions. I wrote them down and everything.
Before,
okay.
Can I just take a second before we...
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, because I wanted to start it off like this. I know you guys could be eating bagels, but you're here. So I have a little black and white cookies for everybody.
Oh, my God. He is showing us up.
I want you to be real careful.
Brooks, I brought no treats.
After everybody gets a cookie, we're going to do a little photo op with everybody here from our view.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys can give us a
Wow,
warm
that is
bagel
really
welcome.
nice.
So
I
this
brought
is-
no
What's up, Chris?
treats. I feel really bad about myself right now. I don't know. I did bring a child. I have a kid here, so everyone can say hi to AG. Hi.
There you go. But that,
So this is hospitality, bringing cookies to the group, to the meeting. Well, who said that? Julia Child said, any gathering without food is just a meeting. So bagel stores, let's start here. Bagel stores are notoriously quick, rushed, fast experiences where, people are on their way to school, on their way to work. It's Sunday morning, everyone's hangry. How do you sort of slow that down, and how do you infuse such a fast experience with hospitality? And you can fight over who goes first.
Oh, sure. So, my places were never built to be like a quick serve or a fast pace. I wanted people to stay. I always take a large space, like 2,000, 2,500 square feet. And I always have a lot of tables and chairs and, a big open kitchen. And so and I have servers, like people come out and take your order, so you don't have to order at the deli.
So you don't have a counter do you have a counter
We do have a countertop, and we have a big open kitchen, and we have a bar around where the bagels are baked and the food is made. Ooh. So we want people to stay. We want them to watch the process. We want them to learn, right? Bagels don't grow on trees. We don't pick them off. It's very labor intensive. So I wanted people to get together and stay. In the beginning, I actually had a big table. We have these big giant tables. I had a no tech zone sign hanging over it. It didn't last long, but I was hoping that people would sit down and talk to each other and like get to know each other and like
Yeah.
enjoy each other's company and enjoy the food and the ambiance. So, I mean, we were never thinking like get in, get out. You know?
And what about at Spread Bagelry and in your experience?
So first of all, I'd like everybody to give me a wave so I can take a picture, a good morning welcome, if you don't mind.
Aww.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. So as Spread, you know, we have both kinds of people. We have very transient people that are in and out for their breakfast. We have people that, like Chris is talking about, that want to come and chill. So what we try to teach there is just all about hospitality, trying to understand what the needs are of your customer, right? For me, it's not so much about the inside of your building or the aesthetic. It's about how you treat them when you come in. And you know that Mr. Tom, if he's dressed in a suit with a bag, he's probably ready to get in and out. And it's also okay to ask that question, are you in a hurry, right? So for us, it's all about the coaching and mentoring of our team to identify preemptively what those needs of your customers are and try to handle it on a case-by-case basis.
So one of the things that you were just mentioning is the design of a store. So how do design and hospitality sort of come together?
I mean, when I built Tompkins, I was coming off of places like Sushi Samba and Nobu. And one of the things I noticed was how the guest would get such a kick out of watching the kitchen staff and watching things being created. And it sort of it just created hospitality. Because now you're smiling at the kitchen staff and you're smiling at the workers behind the counter. And they're being recognized and they're smiling back. And, you know, that's huge. Like, that is a big thing in itself. Now it's like, it becomes like a community. People are interacting with each other. So everything's open in Tompkins. Everyone does everything. We encourage, sometimes we encourage the kitchen staff to come out and take an order because we found that people really get a kick out of that. Like, the guy will have bagels spinning around on the shelf. He'll run out, do like 2 quick orders, and like run back
That's
to the bagel.
amazing. I love that.
But we just try to make smiles. Like, we always say we're in the happiness business. We're not in the bagel business. We teach our staff, like, in New York City, bagels are like Beatles songs. Like, there's so many great ones. What separates
That's
us?
very poetic.
What makes us better?
Yeah.
And I always tell them, like, you guys are what does it. Like, you're the special sauce. So we really work hard with our staff. We work hard with our front of house. We tell them, you know, let's make smiles. Let's do whatever it takes. But the ambiance of, I mean, to just get back to that, we work with local artists. We bring a lot of New York. We learn really early on, New York is kind of like our secret weapon. Like, you're going up against all these corporate places in New York. What are we going to fight with? And one of the things was New York, right? The artists, the musicians, we bring them in. The place, Tompkins, was built by the neighborhood. We brought in local carpenters, tile workers, you know, people like this. We made it like we made the community, we got the community involved in it.
Yeah.
So.
Any thoughts on how design and hospitality connect?
Yeah, because I've witnessed all the good and bad. You know, the big thing is keep it simple for me. Try to avoid bottlenecks. A big one for us that we learned the hard way, once you start doing volume, and it might come simple to a place like Chris in New York City. Philadelphia is a little bit smaller, and I know some of you guys are opening in smaller cities or planning to open in smaller cities. But separating where you pick up your bagel and where you order your bagel, I think is a huge one, and it's often overlooked. Very, very important. I also am a big advocate of keeping clutter to a minimum, meaning you don't need signs all around the cash register, in my opinion, telling what the special is next week, you know, what's going on the week after that, the monthly calendar. Try to keep everything simple and clean so your employees can work, can turn, grab an order, or as Chris is alluding to, the cook can come up, the baker can come up. Guests are walking into your front door, and if they hit the bagel case first and the baker is there, he can hand them a fresh bagel out of the oven while they wait. But I'm really a big advocate of keeping it clean, keeping it simple, not a lot of clutter. If you're grab-and-go items that you have, because I know many of you have those, keep them concise in a place close to the register on the way to the register so people can grab them as they come up. But the place where the transaction happens needs to be clear, in my opinion. What do you think, Chris?
I 100% agree with that. That's all very important. I think like the size of the space, like I believe hospitality is kind of all encompassing. It's everything. It's even before you sign the lease, like spending time in that space. And when you're in that big empty space, thinking about how is your kitchen staff going to be? How are your guests going to feel in this space? Do you get enough light? Is it wide enough? Or when you get lines, like are people going to be banging into each other? Like all of this stuff really, really matters. And from the day you sign that lease, everything you do from that point on matters. Like when I opened my first Tompkins, I studied everything. I studied the psychology of colors on people because what I learned is color sends different signals to people, like go fast, go slow, relax. And I just started to learn everything I could to make it feel like warm and welcoming and inviting. I'm very much against like what is kind of on trend now, which is to take like a very small space that is made to get people in and out quickly and sort of like, have a long line down the block for Instagram. Like I really believe that it's about getting people together and it's about creating an environment where people feel welcome. And if you do that, if you can trust and maybe pay a little more for your space, like believe me, I'm living proof it will pay off. Like it's hard. I know it's easy to say once you're successful, but it's about the space and it's about the way you make people feel. It's not really about the lines and the IG shots and stuff like this.
I think if I could add to that, what Chris is talking about seems overwhelming, right? Not only do you got to worry about producing a good product, which is hard enough in itself, you have to worry about the color of your bathroom walls, the light coming in, right? It's overwhelming. And you will make mistakes, and whatever the mistake is to you, right? But you'll have a lot of successes, and in the end, that space will be yours, right? And I'm sure Chris, after those initial thoughts about the color, has made 3 or 4 changes after that, right? Don't be sold on your initial thought process of what your restaurant is going to be, or want it to be. I don't know. Okay. What you want it to be. Let it evolve. Let the customers and the team tell you what it's going to be after you get going. So
That's 100%. And that does happen, actually. But I mean, we're here to talk about hospitality. This same sort of like obsessive thought has to go into everything, food and, all of that stuff is.
So my next question sort of dovetails with that thought. Like, what systems are important to put in place so that hospitality can flow easily and, I guess what systems support hospitality in the bagel business?
Well, I think like the basics, like greeting every customer that comes in, chatting them, getting to know them. Things like I think you were talking about, like knowing your customer. Sometimes we know the order the second they walk in. We have it ready. Sometimes, we talk sports, we talk politics, whatever that. Wishing them a great day. And then there are things like next level, like we have lots of team meetings where we talk to them and we tell them how important they are to the success of the place. That's really, really important. Manager meetings, getting the kitchen staff involved. Hiring is really important. Like I made a big mistake in the beginning. I hired on experience. I went out, I studied, and guys would come to me from these established shops and I'd be like, yes, he's hired, he's in. And what I learned is, and again, it's I guess easier said than done, but what I learned is I can teach anyone here how to make a bagel. I could go to Times Square and pick 10 people and teach them all how to make a cappuccino. And I can teach every job in the store. What I cannot teach you is how to be nice. I can't teach you how to be warm. I can't teach you how to be a people person. So I quit hiring on experience and I started sitting with everyone and letting them chat for a little bit. And they'll tell you, you'll figure it out if they're coming from a good place. And that's how I started hiring people. And before I knew it, I had a place full of like really good people. and we taught them the rest.
Well, that's great because I know from friends who run small businesses in Brooklyn that staff turnover is a huge issue. So I guess maybe we can talk about that too.
So I agree with you 100%, by the way. As a trained chef, I came up through the ranks, and to Chris's point, people would come in. I was the chef of a Michelin star restaurant, and I did this and I did that. And at the end of the day, we used to make a joke at Spread that Gordon Ramsay might not be able to survive here, right? It's not about the skills you have picked up. It's about the people skills that you can give out. So during the interview process, really important that you're looking at people in just the small details. Are they making eye contact with you, right? Are they talking in a clear voice? Are they happy? Do they have reliable transportation to get to work, right? What may cause them to, what are some of their biggest challenges? Those small things that are really unrelated to the technical skills of making a bagel or smearing a bagel or wrapping a bagel, those are the super important ones. And for example, I hired somebody that had a PhD in geology, I think, and she just wanted to learn, right? And she turned out to be one of the best employees I've ever seen in my life. Same with, moms that are just trying to find a second job, and some people might say, we want the guy that just came out of culinary school or this guy, but those guys know how to give really great hospitality. But to your point about turnover, as Spread, when I started 8 or 9 years ago, we had that problem. It was just a rotating door of people coming in and out. It was actually really sad, because what that means is it doesn't necessarily mean that the person that you're hiring isn't the right person. What that tells you is that you're not running the right company, right? You're not giving a hospitable environment to people. They're your internal customers. They are a customer of you, right? You are there to serve them in a way. You're also paying them to get some stuff done at the same time. But it's really important to treat your team like they are a customer of Tompkins Square Bagels, right, or Spread Bagelry. Would you agree? Would you agree with that? And whatever systems you have, there's a lot of systems. There's Toast. There's just a straight up cash register. There's this app, that app, thousands of different apps. Do I use Restaurant 365 for my inventory controls? Do I use this for my inventory controls? Whatever you're using, it's important, number one, to rely on the purveyor that you're getting it from. So call those Toast people if you're using Toast or your POS person, and have them come in and train you multiple times, not just once, monthly, quarterly, yearly. Restaurant 365 or your inventory control systems. A lot of people don't call these manufacturers or these salespeople to have them come back in. So that's very important, not only for you, but to train your staff. And number two, training your staff and empowering them to make decisions. Everybody wants to feel like they're part of your success, right? In the long run, they're not your family. They're your team. You're a coach of a high-performing team. You're not their dad. You're not their mother. Sometimes you might feel like it, right? But at the end of the day, you're a coach of a high-performing team. And if you show them and treat them that way, they will be excited to kind of grow up the ranks and kind of go through. And the last part I want to make, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but
We like rambling. It's good.
be quick to make decisions as a leader, right? The more decisions you make, you can always make another decision, whether it be in the next minute, the next hour, the next day. But be quick to make decisions on what your gut is telling you. If you have a team member that, you're just fighting, cut it, right? You might feel a certain way about it, but if you feel a certain way about that person, the rest of the overachievers on your team feel the same way. And it's a hard decision to make. But I've had so many people that have left Spread and left other kitchens that I've worked in and actually come back to thank me because you can cut an employee and still have an amicable relationship if you do it the right way, and you're not going to win them all. But a lot of times it's kind of a gut-wrenching thing for that person, and they go out and try even harder to work themselves back up in whatever they're doing. So,
Well, I would think like just to strictly for hospitality purposes, I was gonna make that point. You know, not everyone. People are gonna kind of get through and get through the. If you get that in your store, you have to cut it because it will affect hospitality. Because somebody could be making your great barista's life miserable, or somebody could be making one of your deli guys' life really miserable, and then it starts to spread like a cancer. And before you know it, like your favorite employee said something to a guest, and you're like, "Why did this happen?" You know, it's really, really important to cut it right away, and just move on. You know, it's the whole place is like one living organism, and the entire thing has to be healthy. And I myself have been guilty of keeping people too long. Right, it's very easy to get your heart
Me too.
involved and. You know, you're loyal and these things, but after a certain amount of years, you learn it's for the best.
Yeah. Well, my next question is about mistakes. Were there any mistakes that you guys have made along the way, and can you share some learning experiences with us in terms of how those mistakes affected hospitality, and you know how you would do it differently, or? I know I never
So-
make mistakes, but you know some other people do.
the important thing to know here is you're going to make mistakes every single day for your whole career. All right, and it's how you react to those mistakes, and the decision-making ability that you have to be humble enough as a leader to say, I made a mistake, or at least acknowledge that you made a mistake, because it goes back to what I'm saying about decision-making, right? There's another decision to be made, and everybody is looking to you to make that decision. It's the mistake that goes without a decision made behind it that really starts to kind of rip through your company, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
But you're going to make them all. Trust me. You're going to overcook your bagels. You're going to come into work one day, and all your bagels will be overproofed. God forbid you close one day, which is not good, right? But there'll be really, really highs, and there's going to be really, really lows, and you have to be able to embrace those in a way that's not detrimental. It's on to the next play, right?
Definitely. I made a gazillion mistakes. The first 2 years, I mean, got my daughter's back there, but I got my butt kicked, like really hard. I made a lot of mistakes, and it was really, really hard. And
Anything specific?
you learn the hard way. I mean,
that
I
you
made
want to
some.
share, or
I mean, I learned. In the very beginning, because I was a server for 15 years before I opened Tompkins. You know. So imagine coming into this, I know nothing about human resources, I know nothing about tax laws and this and that, and the machine breaks, I'm looking around for who's gonna fix it, and someone's like, it's you. You know, I was like, so I really had no clue what I was doing, you know. But I mean, hospitality-wise, you know, I had to learn like not to mix it up with the people on Yelp and the Google reviews. You know, I want everyone to, you know, I had to learn.
so do you recommend not?
Don't do that. Yeah.
Not
I
like if you get a bad review, just leave it, or
Well, I would always try to explain. What I had to learn was the same way we don't really know like the inner workings of politics, or we don't know why the head coach is making a decision on a football field. The guest isn't supposed to know. You know, I would try to explain, well, this is why this happened, and this is why this has to happen, and, you know, we're sorry, but, and they would argue, and we'd just go back and forth, and my wife would get upset with me. So, you know, I mean, little things like this are definitely a mistake, hospitality-wise.
So would you say, in terms of dealing with negative reviews on Google or Yelp, to not interact at all then?
No, I mean, I always go on and apologize, and I say, you know, this is what happened, you're welcome back. I mean, related to hospitality, we have a long policy of like, what we do now is go on and we'll say, look, somebody made a mistake, use this response and come back and we'll give you the right order on us. And that's our policy at Tompkins, like hospitality-wise. You're asking about tricks. I train my employees to scan the room. My front of house is trained to scan the front of the room. And if we see a face, like I see your face and it's 15 minutes, boom, what's your name? I'm going to go check on your order. You're acknowledging the person, you're showing them that you care, and you're checking on the order. We've trained every single person because we know it's a busy place. And
That
it's
is
a
really important.
Oh,
Yeah, I
we-
think waiting too long for your food can ruin an experience.
Absolutely. And they're also trained that if you do wait too long, we offer you a cup of coffee, we offer you a pastry on us. Like that's standard across every Tompkins. When we have the big lines on Saturday and Sunday, I mean, talk to other bagel shop owners, they think I'm crazy, but like I have 6 or 7 people that I bring in just to take the orders. If the line is like 250 people deep, which we get on a Sunday in New York, I hire NYU kids. We break up the line. We get the order. We bring it to the kitchen so the kitchen can start working. So you're going to stand on that line, and when you get to the front, your order's ready. And what I also do for hospitality purposes, I make my staff come in and wait on the line so they know what it's like. And then I say to them, how would you like to wait on this line for 30 minutes and get to the front and your order's all messed up, right? So please write clearly and so that everybody can understand. Like we have a lot of little tricks like this that are like hospitality geared. And, you know, it's always top of mind for us. Yeah.
So I have 2 related to the same topic. So when we started growing from 7 restaurants to 18, we realized we needed to expand our commissary. For standardization purposes, we were making all the spreads in the raw bagel dough in one location and shipping that dough raw to various locations within Philadelphia. And my wife's in the back, and she knows about some of this, but one morning I got a call. Our delivery drivers would come in about 2 or 3 in the morning with carts and carts of raw bagel dough that they would then put on a refrigerated truck, take those carts to 12 different restaurants. So I think we're talking about 15,000 bagels or so, which is just a bad system because that dough is proofing in the hallway, that dough is proofing in the refrigerated truck, even though it's refrigerated, summertime is hot. That dough is then proofing when it comes off the truck. But I got a call from one of our drivers. He said, I don't think the dough is right. And I said, well, what do you mean the dough?
Driver's telling you this?
Yeah, I said, what do you mean the dough? And, you know, our dough makers had just left a couple hours before. They worked till like midnight. It's kind of a day fermentation kind of thing. So there's a lot of rotating happening. And he sent me a picture of one of the speed racks. And it looked like just complete dough proofed all down the side of it. About 500 bagels per rack. I said, I immediately jumped out of bed. My wife, she just kept sleeping because she was like used to this kind of stuff. And I said, can you send me the picture of the rest of the carts, please? And he sent me the rest of them. There's just dough on the floor, dough everywhere. And I've rushed into work. I lived about a half a mile. I literally ran to the commissary. And what had happened is in the cooler, our dough makers are making bagels over here, and flour had got into the condenser unit. So much flour over time had gone to the condenser unit of those 2 coolers, we didn't have a fail-safe, something to indicate to us, or an app on my phone that said your cooler is running high, and it overproofed all the bagels for that day for 12 restaurants.
Oh, dear.
What did we do? We immediately called everybody, took an inventory of what was at the restaurants. Luckily, this was on a Wednesday. I then worked 18 hours with all of my staff to make bagels and get them fermented in ambient temperature in the hallways of our commissary and push them back into the refrigerator for the next day. And, you know, it cost a lot of overtime, a lot of stress. We closed a lot of restaurants early that day. Luckily, it was Wednesday. But, you know, that cost the company thousands of dollars, right? And at the end of the day, you feel like crap because you feel like it all falls on you. You let your team down. But these are the kind of mistakes that you're not going to always catch. And hopefully they're not that catastrophic. But it actually made us stronger in the long run. I looked at that condenser every day for the next 5 years and made sure that the dough makers were cleaning the condenser off in the back. We put units on our walk-in, and I'm sure Chris has done things like this. we took precautionary measures for that not to happen again. And that's the most important part about it, so.
I think we have 10 more minutes. I wanted to ask one more question about social media and influencers and how you work around those individuals in hospitality and what your policies are for social media and influencer people.
So, at Tompkins Square Bagels, we had no social. We're open almost 14 years. We had no social media for 11 years.
Wow.
We did no social. Our social media was what I did in the beginning here. Treat people well. Give them a cookie. That's your best social media. Every cookie is going to get you like 20 more followers. We treat everybody as well as we could. I know it sounds silly and it sounds simple, but
People underestimate the value of a cookie.
I
Goes a
have
long
a
way.
2,000 square foot space. You can go there after this. We'll have probably a 200 person line that will snake through the store and then go back out down the street. And I have pictures of that line from 2012 when Instagram did not exist, TikTok did not exist, influencers did not exist. The way we got that line was by being awesome every single day. My staff would go out and they would do their best and they would keep their head down, and that was it. And we did it again and again and again. And people will talk and it will spread. And that is more powerful than any influencer, any Instagram post, any
Totally
TikTok.
agree.
So, it's very tempting, I know. We've never paid an influencer. We've had influencers, and influencers can be great, but I think of it as a supplemental part of your business. The most important thing is to be awesome and treat people well. We tell our staff, treat people like it's your family. Like how do we make, my director of operations back there, I drive her crazy because we have no standardizations. I tell people, make the sandwich like you're making it for your mom. That's it. Put a lot of stuff. We say, our thing is feed people. Feed them, right? And so, that's what we do. And people just love it. You just make people happy, and they talk, and you get
That's
busy.
totally true. I had an experience at Daily Provisions. I don't know if you know that quick service Danny Meyer restaurant in my neighborhood in Cobble Hill. And it was a rainy day, and I had just gone to the library. And if you go to the library, when your hold list comes in, I had a pile of books, and I didn't have a bag, and I was getting something for my mom, and it was raining, and the woman who was taking my order was like, you could probably use a plastic bag for those books. Let me get you one. And she went and got me a plastic bag. She was just taking my sandwich order. And I will never forget that. That made such an impression on me that she was so thoughtful for me and my library books.
Yes.
And those moments really can turn a customer into a regular.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, you never know who your customer is. You don't know what that person might do for you, not that
Yeah.
you're looking for it,
Yeah.
but we're known for having Timothy Chalamet, he's one of our
Which store does he go to?
He started out, he's been spending a lot of time at Union Square, but
H-E?
it's all over,
We're going.
it's all over the internet. He's done wonderful things for us, PR-wise, that you couldn't pay for,
Yeah.
but I had no idea. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm older. I had no idea who he was. He was a kid. He would come in the store. One of my younger, workers told me,
Yeah.
NYU student. So one
That's
day,
awesome.
guy comes running in. He's wearing a hoodie and this and that, and he's like, I need 3 bags of bagels, and we give him 3 bags of bagels. Runs out of the store. The next day, we see a big story in the paper. Timothy Chalamet was at the premiere of his movie The King, handing out bagels. Apparently, they're from Tompkins Square Bagels. You can Google fact check me.
That's amazing.
So
That's a great story.
I thought, oh yeah, Timmy, yeah, here you go. We're closing up. Just
Timmy.
take them. Don't worry about it. Don't you get me? But you treat everyone well. You just treat everyone well, and you keep telling your staff how important it is, and just hire on that, and believe me, the rest will work out. All the other stuff is,
I agree. Keep it elementary. Do you guys, the hospitality is, and Will Gardera said it best. If you guys don't have the book Unreasonable Hospitality, I suggest you pick it up. Shout out to Will. Yeah, setting the table is a good one. But hospitality is different than service. Service is the transaction of selling someone their bagel. Hospitality is the art of making that person feel seen, right? And even if that person is in a rush, it doesn't mean taking up their whole time and telling them your life story. It's just letting them know that you made eye contact with them and you kind of understand if they're in a hurry, not in a hurry, but you're making them feel like they've been noticed.
Yeah,
right?
well said.
Yep, that's hospitality.
Okay, we're going to do a speed round with some fun bagel-related questions. Okay. Brooks, what is your go-to bagel order?
So this goes back to Charlottesville, Virginia. Bodo's Bagels. Don't know if you guys know it, but they're good. Not as good as yours, but like, I don't know. Jalapeno cream cheese, chicken salad, which I found out later is actually turkey salad with sprouts.
Wait,
really, really
Both
good.
of these things are going on the bagel?
All on the same
The
bagel.
jalapeno cream cheese, chicken salad,
It's
and
actually
sprouts?
They call it chicken salad, but it's turkey salad and sprouts.
That's
Game changer, especially if you're a chef. This was before I was working in the bagel business. If you're
and
a
what
chef
kind of bagel?
working-
Sorry,
Sesame.
sesame. Bagel.
Always sesame. Yeah.
Wow, that okay.
And there's not
You
many
just blew
places
me
that have
away.
like
You
chicken.
Just blew my mind.
Do you have chicken salad?
Yes.
You do. Okay.
Okay, Chris.
So mine is sesame bagel with butter. I have a reason for this. When I was a kid in the 80s, my friends and I would all, in the summertime, we'd sneak out of the house. We'd agree to meet somewhere at 3 in the morning, and we'd go sleep on Brighton Beach, make a little fire, watch the sun come up. We'd get home.
Aw.
I
Your
hid this
parents must
from.
have loved
I
that.
had this hidden from my mom for 40 years until my daughter said, "Nana, do you know Daddy used to sleep on?" But we'd then, and as the sun would come up, we'd come to the local bagel store that I worked in, Big City Bagel. We'd just be opening. We'd sit on the sidewalk and smell the bagels being made. And I'd run in, get
So
a
good.
sesame with butter, sit on the sidewalk in Sheepshead Bay, and then sneak back into my house with a full belly of.
That is such a beautiful
That's my-
description.
so
Like I feel like that's
That's my.
like cinematic. I can just
It
like,
was.
see
I
it.
mean, we had a lot of fun in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, but
Mine is usually an
Okay.
everything bagel with whitefish salad and cucumbers.
all right.
And I want to put a shout out for the bialy. I love bialys toasted with butter. I just feel like the bialy doesn't get enough love. So just putting it out there. Okay, worst bagel order you've ever heard. And I'm going to start. It's my dad. And when I order this for him, I have to tell the guys behind the counter at Chelsky's that it's not for me, that it's for my dad because it's so embarrassing. It's a cinnamon raisin bagel with strawberry cream cheese and lox. Thank you. It's horrible. This is a man who was born in Brooklyn, in Midwood. It's horrible. Okay, go Brooks.
I try not to judge. I've seen a lot.
I
but
judge a lot.
For me, I just can't get around anything scooped. Like if you're scooping a bagel, or I'm gonna sound really bad, but like anything toasted too. There was a time I almost ripped all the toasters out of spread. I wish I could have. Everybody wants their bagel toasted, so I didn't. But I don't know why the heck you would ever toast.
Okay,
or
how
scoop
many
a bagel.
people here like a toasted? Don't be shy. It's okay. We won't hurt
I'm
you.
not gonna attack you. I promise.
Okay, non-toasted? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're fresh, no toast. But even so, I don't like how the cream cheese melts on toasted bagels. But anyway,
Well, I have to tell you, when they do scoop the bagel in my store, I save the little ball and I put it in their bag and say, "This is the rest of your
Oh,
bagel."
that's so great. I should do that.
Do what you want. Throw it at someone. I don't care. But this,
Give it to the
you paid
pigeons.
for it. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm not sure I have a worst bagel, but we have a sandwich. We have a lot of NYU kids. I'm around NYU and Cooper Union. So on Saturday and Sunday, they're all trying to sober up. So they will eat anything. So I've seen it all. So my wife and I one day are like, these kids will eat anything to get sober in the morning. They come with the hoodie and the glasses. So we made a sandwich. We made a sandwich called the Weezer. It's called the Weezer because I'm the boss and I like Weezer. That's my favorite band. So it has bacon, chorizo, any cream cheese that you want, melted cheddar, and on a bagel. And there's probably a few. And we just made it as a joke, and it turned out to be the most popular sandwich we have.
That is
It was
hilarious.
actually written up in the New York Times as one of the
That
best
is
breakfast sandwiches in New York.
No eggs?
There's eggs also. Yeah,
Okay.
I forgot about the eggs.
Eggs, cream cheese, melted cheese, chorizo, and bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were hungover, not that I've ever been hungover, AG, I would want that.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could invent a bagel that's never been invented, what would it be? Let's start with you, Chris.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I don't know.
We
We might have to go to the audience for that.
We do something called Fragels every once in a while, which like we get, well, because the lines are so long, and I'm Italian, so we have Zeppelis. So we started taking the bagel dough and making little balls and frying them. And when people are waiting on the long lines, we hand them out as like, hey.
And is it sugar dusted or it's savory?
Yeah, we do a little powdered sugar on them. And we just give them out to people while they're online.
I love
And,
that.
Yeah,
Like little munchkins.
yeah.
So for me, I have a sweet tooth, but I don't have a specific bagel, but I'm really getting into, or I have gotten into, like taking spices, different kinds of fruits or vegetables, and trying to understand how those work. In the last talk, they talked about a dried cherry cardamom bagel that they had in LA. And I was in the back like, oh shit, I should have thought of that, But using those kinds of spices that you don't typically see in a bagel shop, sweet and savory, and kind of experimenting with those is what I really like to do.
So we've seen the cronut. I guess you might have sort of just answered that with the Fragel. But is there another sort of hybrid doughy bread situation that's going to be next in the bagel world? I like the Fragel.
So, do you have a pretzel bagel at your? No.
Just do the salt.
Yeah. So, pretzel bagel for me, I don't know. Is anybody here doing a pretzel bagel? I'm in Philadelphia, so like pretzels are a huge deal. I never really understood why, but they are. So understanding the like boiling process, because that really helps you get your crust. And so pretzel bagel is one, and also one of our longtime customers has been asking me to try to figure out a Portuguese bread bagel. I don't know if you guys have ever had Portuguese bread, but it's like a milk bun almost. So trying to understand that.
Do we have time to take some questions from the guests, from our audience? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Great conversation so far. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can everyone hear?
By a bagel company in New Orleans, but I've also been in the business for about 38 years. I also own the Helen music venue, and that's for the last 25 years. And hospitality has always been the key. Chris, you were talking about training. You train your staff to kind of scan for stuff like that. And I'm curious if obviously things have changed pre-pandemic and post-pandemic in terms of staffing, in terms of hiring, in terms of turnover. And I'm curious what you're investing in actual training for your front of house staff, the kitchen staff, and as they're kind of going through the manager process, are you instituting more training? Because a lot of times you have issues when you just hire a manager and they work with them all the time. So I'm curious for both of you. Brooks, you actually have a different experience in that, so I'd be curious to hear if you're doing anything training those folks as they're moving up, as they started, and as they're moving up.
Yeah, I mean, I think first I'm open 14 years. I have people that are with me for 14 years, and I have a lot of them. So I think the first thing is treat people really well, and even when you get to the part where you can pay them really well, do it, because you can't put a price on that, and it's like to hire more and train. You're just burning money. So I think that's the first thing, and the second thing is I have 4 stores. I'm in them all the time, like like my manager can tell you there, my director of ops. I spend a lot of time with my staff. I am front of house, which I wanted to say, like, I get that not everyone is a front of house person, not everyone's a people person or a people pleaser. I have a great director of operations who deals with all of my back end, stuff. I have a great chef. So I'm free to do like the stuff that I'm good at. And if you're not that person, then find that person and hire them and focus on food or focus on numbers if that's what you want to do. But for me, like to answer your question, I work directly with them and I show them this is why we do this. It's not that I'm this boss and I'm telling you this has to be this way and that has to be that way. Look, this is why we do it. This is what happens when we don't do it. And then I'm with them enough that I know who my good people are and I know who my people are that can train people. And, I have a great core that I send out to every store. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. I mean, retaining staff, just pay people well and treat them well.
I guess ask, do you have any written procedures or anything?
Oh, absolutely. We have written procedures, but I found that, like, written procedures, you write them down, you give it to them, it goes out the window. The best thing to do is work with your people. Like, all that stuff, we had none of it for, like, 11, 12 years. And I was always like, oh, we need to get this. We got it. It's just as good without it. I mean, you got to work with the people, and you got to interact with them, and you got to, spend time with them.
So to Chris's point, written procedures, that's not a magic token to answer all your questions. They're guidelines. People are still going to do what they've always done. But the training happens every single day, every single minute that you're in there. And it might not be formal training. And this goes back to decision making, leading by example. If you guys think opening a bagel spot is easy, it's not, right? So if you want to do something easy, sell tennis equipment, right? The hospitality business is really hard. So to Chris's point, he's in there every day. He's been in there every day for 30 years, right?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this is the other thing. Like, you really have to love it. Like, I don't want to be in it. I need to be in it. Like, I need to be in a restaurant full of people, or I'm not okay. Like, right now, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to run back to my store. I feel like when I'm not in my stores, I got to go to some family function or something. I feel like a little kid missing the Little League game. My mom's dragging me for school clothes or something. Like, I like to be in my stores. I love it. So you really need to love hospitality, and you need to love being around people and making people happy, and then you'll be good at it, I think.
And training sometimes is, part of training is hospitality towards your team. Just while you're grinding on a Saturday, working the register with a team member, and you guys both might be making mistakes, laughing about it, but being there and being present is huge. It's like when the parent is in the room kind of thing. Also, asking your team how they're doing. Like, how's your week going? Showing that you have some genuine concerns and interest in their life. You don't need to know their life story, right? But like, just making sure they're okay. Really goes a long way. And you'll find that if you're checking in and being hospitable to your team, holding them accountable, holding yourself accountable as a leader, that they'll go to the end of the earth for you. There's not a lot of leaders in the world that do that. So.
Yeah, I think that's super important. And you asked me about mistakes that I've made. That actually was a mistake that I made. Like, somewhere in like year 3 or 4, it was so much work, and it was becoming so much stress. And I would have things on my mind. I'd walk into the store, and I would just get right to it. And my GM had to stop me and say, "Hey, Chris, you should say hi to the guys. Like, you come in, you're not saying hello. You stopped asking people." And I was like, "Oh man, what's become? What has become of me?"
Yeah.
So I had to like reel myself in. But that stuff is so important. Like, doing what you can for you. Like, the other thing is like maybe going the extra mile. Like, I've sponsored citizenships for people. People going through a hard time. You sit with them, you talk to them. Maybe one of your young kids wants to get an apartment. You help them with you co-sign for you do first month's rent. They need a loan. Like, all of these things. And I mean, you do it to be a good human, but what you don't realize is it buys you like, it buys you like loyalty and just goodwill.
Most
Like,
important thing
yeah.
that I learned was they're not working for Tompkins Square Bagels or what's the name of your spot? They're not working for the company. They're working for you, right? They're working for Chris.
It's funny you bring that up. There was a hospitality workforce development survey they did in Cleveland, and they found that top 3 reasons people are leaving the hospitality industry: one, childcare, that's a big one. Transportation and parking, depending upon, so in New Orleans, if you're in the French Quarter, it's tough to park because it's expensive. And then the third was middle management. They loved their boss, they loved the owner. They did not like their direct supervisor. And so they invested city money into a pilot program that for places that only have one, or you've only got a few, and you don't really have an HR department. And so I was just curious how you guys have dealt with that. And the pilot program was so successful that it increased retention of the one they did it was pilot, and it increased retention fivefold. So they weren't having the same turnover that they were having because of middle management. Like a training program that helped businesses like us that do this every day. And so a lot of the things you're talking about are things I've been doing as an owner for the last 28 years.
I think we are, I'm so sorry, but we're running a little bit behind. So would it be okay if Chris answered your question on the side? Because I think, or do we have time to answer that here?
Okay, the bagel rolling competition starts at 12:15, so
Okay,
couple minutes.
okay, so then maybe you do have time. Yeah,
I'm not completely sure I understand, but I think part also you have to accept that some people are just supposed to leave, right? Like I have maybe 70% that stay, but like the college kids are supposed to grow up and graduate and move on to the things they want to do in life. And some people are just there to make as much money as they can to send home to their family.
Yeah.
Like, so I try to always have like a lower level of people that are ready to step in, and just teach everyone everything, so that everyone knows every position and can step in when people do leave.
that's great. That's good advice. I think that we do have to wrap up. I want to thank Chris and Brooke so much for this great conversation. And I think, everyone in this room is baking something that brings people joy. So you're one step ahead of everyone. Hospitality around bagels, I think it's a given. So good luck to everyone here with your new ventures. And I hope to be able to try your bagels in the future. And let's go eat and roll bagels.